Want an even more in-depth look at the toy in this review? An entire gallery of images can be found at Toy News International. Just click the link in this video's description. Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the Star Trek Kre-O Klingon Bird of Prey. That's right, we're moving right along with another review of one of the Star Trek Kre-O sets. This time we're going to take a look at the Klingon ship known as the Bird of Prey. Now this is another one of the larger scale sets in the line. It's the second biggest set. It's the one right underneath the Enterprise. This particular set includes 236 pieces, so it's actually about half the size of the Enterprise, but still a good amount of pieces in here that's going to build a pretty nice size ship for you. As you can see, it comes in the same style boxed packaging that we've seen the Kre-O sets coming in so far for the Star Trek line, complete with the handle up at the top of the box. The front has some really nice artwork depicting all of the characters that are included, along with that Klingon Bird of Prey. It also lets you know that there are 4 Kreon minifigures included, and that this also includes that light tech action feature that we've seen on all of the other Star Trek sets so far. The back of that box just gives us another look at the items that are within the box, as well as shows off some of the other action features that this particular set contains. Now, opening up the box, I've noticed that there does seem to be a trend with these. These boxes just seem a lot bigger than they really need to be. You can see that the bags inside only take up about half the size of the box. Not really a big deal, just feel like pointing that out because it's always so funny to me when I open the box and see that there's just a lot of extra space in there for no reason. But within that box, you're going to get several bags containing all of the pieces and the Kre-O parts. You're also going to get an instruction manual that will guide you through the process of putting this together. And there is one small sheet of decals so that you will need to apply those yourself, and the instructions will show you where to apply them during the building process. So, getting all the pieces out there, once again you kind of have to sort these out yourself. It's best to try to sort them by color. That'll help you kind of organize a little bit. 236 pieces, so it's not too hard to sort through these, and the instructions are pretty good about guiding you through the process of putting this together. Now, as I have experienced with all Kre-O sets so far, the pieces do take a little bit of pressure to pop together. They don't really hold together as good as you'd like them to, nor do they really fit together as good as you would expect them to. So they are going to take a little bit of work to press together. But this particular set, I didn't have as many problems with as I did with the Enterprise that I built before this. For the most part, everything seemed to fit together pretty well. I did, however, encounter one issue while putting this together. There are several spots in the instruction manual where it was asking me to put on decals that I apparently didn't have. My set only came with one decal sheet, and if you look at it, there are 3 spaces on there where it looks like there should be 3 stickers. I happen to have been missing 3 decals that the instruction manual told me I should have. They're just scratch effects that should have been put on there, but I don't know if it was just printed incorrectly on my decal sheet or if there was supposed to be a second decal sheet with those 3, but they are definitely missing from my box, so I was not able to put on all of the decals I was supposed to. So depending on how skilled you are with putting together Kre-O sets or building block sets, this should only take you around 30 minutes or so to put together. That's about how long it took me. And when you're all said and done, you end up with this, the Klingon Bird of Prey. Of course, this particular Klingon Bird of Prey is modeled after the look of the ship as it appears in the new J.J. Abrams Star Trek Into Darkness film. So it definitely doesn't look exactly like the Klingon Bird of Prey we've seen in the past. Specifically, it's not that greenish color that we've seen them mostly in the Next Generation and other iterations of Star Trek. It does have a little bit of the same shape to it. And what's kind of neat about it is it does have a few action features that will help with it. For example, the wings are on these little ball joints, so the wings are able to move both up and down. So you can kind of fold them down there, and that definitely does give it much more of that Klingon Bird of Prey look that we're used to seeing. So it definitely does resemble the original Klingon Bird of Prey, but it is a redesign. This is, after all, based on that new film. Most of the set is just gray and black. There are some kind of darker red accents on there, and then you will notice some of the decals I have where it's just kind of like the scratching going up along the sides there and along the top. And then on both of the wings we do have the Klingon Empire insignia, which is a really cool little touch there. Aside from the fact that the wings are able to move up and down on the ball joints, we do have a few other little features that go along with this. For example, we do have the little rocket firing missiles on here. Now these are on the front, so I guess this is a way to kind of simulate the photon torpedoes or anything like that. These actually work in a very similar manner to the ones with the G.I. Joe Kre-O set, so if you picked any of those up, you know what to expect. Now they do have a little knob on there that kind of holsters it on in place so that you don't have to worry about it falling out or anything, but if you want to fire it, you definitely do want to have it kind of unhooked there a little bit, and then if you just press down on the piece on the top, it pushes the little piece out. Now obviously it doesn't shoot very far, it more just kind of falls out just a little bit, but it is still kind of a neat little effect, and that's definitely something there for the kids if they want to play with these as actual ships and shoot at the little Kre-O figures. There, that was a better shot. That one fired pretty good. So just got to put a good amount of little pressure on there. Shoots both wings have that same firing mechanism, so pretty cool on there. There are some opening spaces on here. For example, you can open this little back hatch on the top, which basically is kind of a little storage area. The instructions show that it's a place that you can store the little Klingon weapons, so you can put the batleth in there or any of the little phaser, anything like that. You can just store stuff on the inside right there, and that just pulls up because it's got the little tab right there, so it's very easy to lift up and put back down. And then of course we have the opening cockpit. So the cockpit just kind of folds open, and you can set your Klingons on the inside there. Now it is worth noting that if you want to close the cockpit on the Klingons, you do have to kind of lay him back a little bit like that in order to get the cockpit to close. If he's sitting straight up, it's not going to be able to close down over him. Now this is another one of those Star Trek Kre-O sets that includes the light tech feature. The good news about this is it's just one little light tech brick that already has 2 button cell batteries included, so you don't need to buy separate batteries for this. You'll notice on the very top up here there is a small translucent red button. Holding that button down is going to activate the light tech feature. So let me show you how that works. Press that button down and you get this glowing red feature in the cockpit. It's a little harder to see with the cockpit down, but when you open it up you can see it glows red on the inside. So that's just kind of a neat way to simulate the red glow inside of a Klingon ship. So it is definitely a cool feature and it works rather well. It only lights up while you're holding the button. So as soon as you let it go, the lights turn off. The bottom of the Klingon ship does have little spaces for kind of like landing gear, so if you want to display this on a shelf or a table or anything like that, it does stand perfectly flat. Also, if you want to display it with the wings down, if you fold them down, it does balance itself pretty well, so you can actually display it like this too, if you'd rather have it like that on your shelf. Alright, so like I said, this particular set does include Kre-O minifigures. Included is a new Captain Kirk wearing a black and gray outfit as seen in the film, Lieutenant Uhura wearing her typical red Starfleet uniform, and then we also get 2 Klingon Kre-Ons, which are very cool. Now, of course, these are Klingons modeled after the way they appeared in the new film, and they are wearing helmets. The helmets are unfortunately part of the head sculpt, so you can't actually take the helmets off to reveal the Klingon faces underneath. One of the Klingons comes with the batleth weapon, the other one comes with a phaser. So, pretty nice to get 4 new Kre-Ons with this particular set. Alright, so now that we've taken a look at the ship and the Kre-Ons that come with it, something I know that you guys are going to want to see, let's compare it to the Starship Enterprise. That way you can kind of get an idea of the scale between the two. Now this is definitely a smaller Klingon Bird of Prey. That's how they were in the film too. This particular one is just a one-man ship, but you can kind of see how it compares to the Enterprise there. It's a pretty decent size next to it. It's definitely about half the size of the Enterprise, so it'll be kind of neat to display them on the shelves together, I think. And another neat thing about this is that since we do have some new minifigures, we can actually add to the bridge team on our Enterprise. We now have a Lieutenant Uhura, so we can easily stand her on the inside with our Kirk and our McCoy and our Spock, and we can build up the regular crew of the USS Enterprise. So that's pretty neat, and as you pick up more of these sets, you can add to your bridge crew for your Enterprise. So there you go, guys. There's a look at the Star Trek Kre-O Bird of Prey. Overall, I am pretty satisfied with this one. It was much easier to put together. I had a better experience with this than the Enterprise, and I haven't had any real issues with the parts popping off or anything like that. The only weird thing about it is the fact that it was missing some decals. I'm not real sure exactly why that was the case. Maybe it was just my particular set and I got a fluke there, but nonetheless, some decals were missing. I do like the included Kre-O figures. It's nice to get some more of those characters. We did, of course, get another Kirk, but it's cool to get a new Uhura, and it's always cool to get some multiple aliens like Klingons for some army building. So the new Star Trek Kre-O sets are hitting store shelves right now, specifically Toys R Us stores. So happy hunting, and until next time.